start right here. And one more. Thank you.
So yeah, I certainly represent.
Yeah, it's different, you know. That's part of the appeal of the role. That, you know, I'm used to playing a guy who is very selfless and very magnanimous and very taciturn, and this guy is not that. This guy has a lot of confidence and very full of himself, bloviates a lot, and very bombastic. So it's fun as an actor to make that shift. I've yet to really process what it's going to be like doing 8 shows a week for, you know, months and months. So hopefully it's an experience that continues to reinvent in terms of creative discovery.
He's bombastic, and you know, he's a real piece of work. And I don't always get to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I signed up for this play back in May or something like that, before a lot of these movements had really found their footing. And with every passing day, you know, the wave of people who are becoming more entrenched and motivated by these movements and the change that's happening only makes this play more relevant and more topical and more charged and more powerful in a lot of ways. So it's really exciting. Like it's tough being the one that represents the patriarch. I mean, in the piece, I am the one that represents misogyny. You know, I represent the power imbalance. I represent what is wrong, and that's, you know, it's tough, but it's also a fun challenge.
Back to the stage, which is where I got my start, which is this is my home. New York is my home, and finally be back and doing well with it. It's not like anything. I think that each character goes through some moment in this play where they have to figure out if they're going to do the thing that's okay or if they're going to do the thing that's heroic. And it really is a question I think that most of us as Americans have to think about. You know, there's so many things happening around us that make us feel that we're not being heard and that there's no justice going on for us and that there's nobody that's going to speak for us. And I feel like the play says the same thing. I mean, look, it was done 17 years ago, and the issues and topics that are in it are still very prevalent today. And, you know, we're going through the Me Too movement, Black Lives Matter, and all these things. It's all within this play. And it's amazing that Kenneth was able to make that happen, you know.
Great, thank you. And right here. Thank you. Michael, right here.
It's a big problem for him. It's not very different. I mean, you know, more or less the same problems, the same social dynamics that were happening then are more or less recognizable and like transposable into any era, it seems. I mean, it really feels like it could have been written yesterday, and I'm sure if you do this play in 30 years, it'll be like, wow, it was so ahead of its day. He completely predicted all of the dynamics that were going to be happening in society. And so I think it's just stuff that's always under the surface. And right now it's sort of a little more at the surface and sort of on everybody's minds and sort of, you know, at a sort of focal. But I think it's things that are always there, and that's why they resonate, you know.
So what drew you to this? Was it work?
I think it's brilliant. I mean, I think that, you know, what happens to Dawn in this play is incredibly relevant in terms of what's happening to women and for women in the world right now. I actually kind of wish there'd been a Me Too movement for Dawn in 1999, because then she would probably be in a better position. But what she goes through is really representative of that kind of rock and a hard place that women so often find themselves, especially when they're in very male-dominated industries.
Guys, we're going to start here. Guys, can you move forward a little bit? We'll do it in the center. Okay. Sorry.
Above her, right up here. Wonderful, thank you. And right here. One sec.